Whenever a best of 5 reaches game number 4, you are guaranteed that one of those players is a single game away from winning. In this circumstance, it is the teamless Polt up against the on a team Grubby. Down in the bottom right-hand corner on his eponymous team, Grubby choosing Accolon Wastes, or Accolon Flats, as it is sometimes called, to go up against the crazy mid-game aggression from Polt. You know, if you just stop and drop in on some TVPs in the middle of them, don't look too close, it's very easy to look at what Polt's doing and say, yeah, it's what all Terrans do. Hell, that's what I do. But you're mistaken. Most players have a very specific early time that they'll begin their upgrades. Most players like to get the 2-2 and 3-3 upgrades started very early. Polt almost always opts to add on more barracks instead of trying to add on more upgrades. This allows him to do stronger attacks, guarantee the Protoss is on fewer bases, guarantees that the warp gates are warping in more units, which means less tech for Protoss. Polt gets so many big strides forward, and then eventually he'll get those upgrades because, well, since I'm maxed on Marine Marauder, I may as well make them awesome. It's the way in which he does it that is so fine to me. Polt actually switching it up, going to be going for a command center first play, and not even a shy command center first. He's not even going to tease it. He's going to just blast it right down the front. Both barracks will no doubt go back up on that high ground. Very common in this circumstance, and by very common I mean very, very common, like 99% of the time, following it up with 2 barracks. Terrans like to follow it up with 2 barracks to be able to deal with fast chrono-boosted zealots. If you identify that the Terran is trying to get away with a single barracks, you can very, very easily just die. Single barracks, prone to zealot, chrono-boosted stalker. Not enough time to get the barracks up. Really do need the double production. Pesky probe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SCVs off mining, but that's cool. About 11 are back home doing their bread-winning thing. Curious to see the way that Grubby wants to play this one out. We'll go for the expand. Did he skip all units? You betcha. We'll be following up with Warp Gate, subsequently a Stalker. Another fast assimilator. Now on this map, paradoxically, it's difficult to get your third base up as a Protoss player. These rocks are such a huge pain. For Terran, they're not as much of a pain, given that Terran is normally the one with utter map control against the Protoss player, can easily move straight to Protoss base and make him defensive, again at that key 10-minute mark, so very standard for the Terran player in terms of the ease of getting up a third, but Protoss has a real struggle bear time with that. Fast Mothership Core, fast second gateway, third barracks upcoming for Polt, and he's doing a very nice maneuver, not getting a very early bunker. In fact, looks like he's not getting any bunker. He's just going to be going for third barracks and then double gas right away. Nice move from Polt. It means that he'll be able to hyper speed up his tech. Both refineries up in the main base to keep him hidden from Protoss. And as Grubby takes his expand, is looking just nice and comfortable in that mid-game scenario, but I'm starting to ask myself, what is Grubby going to do tech-wise? An early robo would be something before 5 minutes and 45 seconds. No need to analyze that because Grubby is going down one of the alternative tech paths, the fast Stargate. Do need 2 gateways very swiftly up with this sort of build order, as it takes quite a long time to get out a reasonable number of beefy Stargate units. So the double gateway will permit you to deal with some of these surprise marine attacks, which are very possible given the opening. Following it up with a 6 racks play from Polt makes a lot of sense. Not something we actually see that much, and might even be of use. Actually, let me check this Mothership Core timing. Mothership Core actually, yeah, will have enough energy to be able to do the Photon overcharge if need be. So, standard Mothership Core Scout about to come up. A fairly non-standard Oracle play. Grubby's actually doing a big variety of stuff, and Polt's kind of sticking around the same structures. He is going for the Sure, Reaper expand into Marine Marauder medevac. Nexus or Command Center first into Marine Marauder Medevac, but overall, they wind up at the same spot. Interested to see what Grubby's going to do in this spot. There's the scan. Sees the Robo facility at the front. And the Oracle, he flies into it, but is Polt still looking there? Unlikely to be looking there. Now we're seeing the Phoenixes get produced. Mothership Core harassment. Seems that it's killed something. But I love this play going straight for the robotics facility. This is another way to instantly transition into the Colossus. You're forcing your opponent away from harassment, forcing him to build a lot of Marines. You exploit that by going for the robotics facility. If he moves that at the wrong time, he's in real trouble. I don't know how far north Polt can see. I don't even think it's that far north. He's going to sweep right in, and he's going to deal some considerable damage. Polt's going to have to react fast. There goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 5 will be the final kill count for Grubby as he tries to get in at a better angle. Teases the concept of, hey, maybe I'll kill off your stim. Gets another SCV. Getting a little too overbold there. There's a robotics facility coming down now. Getting close to finishing up. Still needs to get that out by around the 10-minute mark for a normal timing attack from Terran, but it looks like this one's going to be slower. Polt looks like he'll be moving out more like 10:30, which is exactly what Grubby wants. Grubby now having the 6-gate Robo facility defense, and with 3 Phoenixes out. Where are these Phoenixes located? They're actually just hiding back at this backside. This is going to be an amazing way to just blast down all those medevacs, and oh, Polt going for more barracks. Again, Polt loves favoring additional barracks instead of getting more bases, so that way you can have a stronger mid-game, a delayed upgrade, so that, again, you can favor those barracks units even more. Going for the tech labs first to make sure that he can get a lot of marauders up. Ooh, this is going to be very, very dicey. A very tough call. Grubby begins to slowly chip away at this pain-in-the-ass destructible rock pair. Marauders dart up. Stalker will try to get out of the way. Do they have concussive shell? No, no they don't. Stim Marauders cost themselves a lot of life. Oh, they get spotted. And picked off. So this is a rather weird position to be in as Polt. You're generally not up against Phoenixes in this position, and if you are, you're up against nothing else. But we're seeing Grubby have a Colossus out already. But look at how constrained he is on gas. Has, what, 2 sentries? 1 Colossus? So much gas has been spent on the Phoenixes. Normally we see like 5 sentries in that position. Marine Marauder Medevac on Mass. Is Polt actually going to build a Widow Mine right at the front? You betcha. It's the king of the beta, man. The games have to be as sweet as possible. Phoenixes dart to the top side. Did they pick off a Medevac? I don't even know. Picking off everything. This could be a very nice time for Grubby to just move down onto the low ground and kill this off. I mean, what are the medevacs going to do? There's the stim. That's just free damage. Grubby just dealt straight to those units. Now these Phoenixes, seems like they could dart forward. Seems like they could pick off this Marine, but they really have to stay pinned back to the rest of these bases. What are these Phoenixes doing? They need to get into that engagement. As a long-term plan, we're seeing Grubby begin to slowly incorporate more gateways. Having a little too many gateways at this point is a very nice move. Uh-oh, uh-oh, looks like the Phoenixes just did the most dangerous game. Bringing their own health down. But Grubby's overbuilding gateways because he has very spread out locations, and dealing with those medevacs is a real problem. Even though he has those Phoenixes, if he misses a medevac just by a few inches, they'll drop into his main base and deal massive hurt unless he can warp in back at that backside. In the meantime, we see that Polt has continued to ramp up the amount of barracks that he has, and going for the starport is a little bit more clear of a decision. This is not the usual defensive play, the, oh my gosh, I see Colossus, I guess I better just derp and build a whole bunch of Vikings. This is a lot more of, I want to attack as much as possible, and given that I see Colossus and Phoenix, I will be getting the Vikings. Also on this map, small narrow entrance here, a difficult to go up ramp here, guarantees the effectiveness of a lot of Protoss defense. That means, oh, Suddenly Grubby is in a terrifying situation. He doesn't really have any strong drop defense. More Phoenixes being made. Oh my gosh, I mean, in the unit loss tab, 4 of those units are Phoenixes. I mean, that's a full 1,000 worth of resources they just threw away. Ah, gross. But the Vikings, again, in these narrow alleyways, very, very strong. This cavern, a nice parking ground. We're seeing Mr. Oracle step in there. Will he cost himself his life? Absolutely. Protoss bits float down to the bottom. Now we're seeing again the characteristically late upgrades. Polt not really rushing for any of those so much as he is rushing to get more units out. We see him getting very close to max. Grubby is implying that he wants to take another expansion there, especially with that pylon going down. Yeesh. But in this spot, Grubby, with these Phoenixes, still trying to maintain air control, still getting more High Templar. Phoenix, Zealot, Templar, a nice mixture. The Zealots run to the front, making it hard for the Phoenixes to take damage. If units try to run up and pick off the Phoenix, very easy storm on them. And then all the medevacs fall down, down, down. 14 gateways in production total. And this is a sharp transition right now. Polt doing his mid-game thing, adding on more barracks, not worrying so much about whether or not he has ghosts or whether or not he's walking into too many High Templar. He just wants to make sure to crush with Marauders, and it looks like it's going to catch Grubby a little bit out of position. These gateways are not yet quite done in the main. An amazing series of storms on those Vikings, and now we're starting to see the Phoenixes step forward, absorb some of those hits. Where are the Colossus? What are those Colossi doing? Missed 4 or 5 shots from each. Might have been enough to just destroy this force, but right now, I mean, Grubby's going to have to retreat until these extra Zealots come out. We're seeing a lot of gateways still not yet morphed in, and the Zealots stream up to the Marauders. The Colossus taking some serious pain. And Grubby may have blundered by having that half-second juke with none of his Colossi firing. Templar, nowhere in sight. Vikings are going to fall. This expansion looks like it will barely be saved. The Colossus need to be careful. The Marauders very able to snipe down any Colossus that gets in the way, and Grubby has barely stabilized. 1-2 upgrades. And this is what we were talking about earlier, the amount of pressure that Polt puts on forces a delay in tech for the Protoss. So sure, Polt has seen that there are Templar, has experienced Storm himself, and if you look through this, no Ghost Academy in production, no Ghost Academy yet. Polt's continuing to just try to step across through the middle of the map, trying to drop, trying to exploit the low unit count. Another way to abuse storms. Having your units so spread out that they're not really clustered to be able to be picked off. Wow. That said, Grubby has rounded out his composition. Rounding out the idea of saying, what's my ideal composition, and just finishing the missing pieces. Until now it's Colossus, Storm, Mothership Core with Time Bomb, Speed Zealot, Stalkers with Blink, possibly the only thing missing. This is exactly what Polt wants. He pulls the units into the center of the map, drops the main base. Oh no, the pylon! Oh! Takes out the pylon, but we have a mass recall. Darts right back to the main. Oh! A feedback! Might even lose one of those medevacs. No! Oh my god. Absolutely freaked me out. Embarrassingly enough, because I forgot that recall was a thing in this game. Wow, that changes a lot. There's so many more attacks that I haven't even been considering that Grubby could do now that he has that recall. That's weird. I've even done the recall. I mainly play Protoss. What's the matter with me? Grubby, looking into a decent spot. Beginning to advance. Ghost Academy just getting started now. Generally not a bad thing as long as the Terran player is the one on the offensive. And right now, Polt is very much so on the defensive. We see these Templar able to just waltz their way forward. Absolutely nothing to get in their way. A nice arc from Polt starting to step in. Storms landing on everything, but where is the unit count from Grubby? The Marauder count is so high. It's almost an exclusively Marauder army. The spread was too much. The Storms didn't even really deal that much damage. Zealot Archon is what Grubby needs right now, but he still has those Colossus, and now he has a drop in the back of his main base. Polt's crazy! Polt, I don't care if you had one pylon powering him or two. I know exactly how to deal with this, and it looks like this line of pylons is now the line of vulnerability. Only 6 power gateways remain, down to 4. Storms, land, Colossus cleaning everything up, looking abysmal for Grubby, as now at his third base. Marauders flooding in, Polt playing like an absolute genius, locking himself onto the backside. There's no production, Polt knows it. He's just going to flood in, pick off the Nexus. Pick it off. Is he going to pick off the Nexus? He's trying to just pick off the Zealots, but there's still a few too many. Woo! Polt with an uncharacteristic blunder there, but now again, Grubby has just lone Colossi to pick off this force. Will Polt recognize? Will he load back up? Keep in mind, the warp and cycles do not charge in while those gateways are powered down. I mean, Polt, I don't even know if Polt would have been able to deal with Grubby in full production capacity, but we'll never even get to know Grubby now with tons of money in the bank because he literally cannot spend it warping in a single Zealot at a time, trying to chrono boost. But Polt with overwhelming numbers, Grubby getting eliminated. There's the good game, well played. That means that Polt wins the series 3-0. Polt will be advancing. Excuse me, not 3-0, 3-1. Polt will be advancing to the grand final for a chance to win $2,000 of my money. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I will say good night. An incredible series played to Grubby. Congrats to him for playing such an amazing series, and of course for his incredible PVZ against TLO in the round of 8. Until next time, I will say ciao. See you for the finals.